Hello all, my name is Scott Fratcher. I was captain of Mariah, the Catana 582, for about 2 years. We sailed between New Zealand, Tahiti, Tonga, Samoa, Nuie, the Cooks, Tuamutos. We had a lot of good trips on that boat, and some of it was in really light charter. Most of it was for the owner's use. And I just wanted to come up and make a quick observation about Mariah, I guess, is that in the last few weeks I've been getting this flood of emails, and it's all people asking about Mariah, and it kind of got me curious. How come all these people are contacting me about Mariah right now? And so I went and looked on the web and realized that Mariah is for sale, actively for sale, and she has a really aggressive competitive price, it looks like, and that has people calling and looking at the boat's history. And of course we did these turnover videos, so we did these videos that should make it easy to take over the boat, because I went through and explained each piece of equipment on the boat. It's about a 4 or 5 hour video. I actually made that for so that the new captain could take over the boat quite easily and make an easy transition, because we didn't actually get to do a regular handover. We left the boat, and then the new captain was showing up. So I wanted to make it really easy for the new captain, and so I guess that would make it really easy for somebody else buying the boat too, because all the information's there. But because of that, people look that up, and then they see Scott Fratcher, captain of Mariah, and then they find me on the net and they email me and they're asking about the boat. And now the funny thing about this is that it's been 5 years since we were on Orion, since we were on Mariah. Right now my wife Allison and I were running Orion, and Orion's the 90-foot Catana catamaran. So that's the largest Catana ever built, and it's kind of like 4 times the size of a 582. And so anyway, so I got thinking, well, why are all these people emailing me? And when we saw that Mariah was for sale, we realized that we are right now taking Orion through Florida, and Mariah happens to be in Florida, and she's just a short drive away. So last night we hopped in the car and drove down to take a look at Mariah, and mainly because when people ask me when people ask me her condition, I don't know what to say. I know the boat was fantastic when we left, and the owner kept her in really good shape, and really kind of prided himself in keeping the boat looking good, and so and functioning well. And so how about now? How is the boat now? And I don't know, because I haven't seen the boat in 5 years. But so we drove out last night and did about a 10-minute walkthrough, and I got to say, the boat looks great. I mean, she really looked good. I was really surprised at how well she has been kept up. Her interior, Mariah has a really nice interior. It's kind of a varnished cherry, and it's kind of a dark wood, but doesn't make the boat look dark. And it's a very nice boat to live in. And I was kind of thinking, well, maybe all the varnish peeled. I mean, how come they have a low price, and the boat's still sitting on the sales lot? But when we went and looked, and all the varnish was in great shape. The rest of the boat looked fine. She's had, it's an older boat. Obviously, it's the 582 series is a few years back now, but the boat looked good. And something else I'll point out is the boat just came from Tahiti. I mean, they brought the boat to Florida to sell, so it wasn't that long ago. I mean, just very recently that the boat made that upwind trip, and that's a hard trip to make for those that kind of think about it. Florida is the upwind side, and it's 1,000 miles to the canal. It's another 4,000 miles to Tahiti, so that's 5,000 upwind miles that boat just made, and it all just looked right. It looked fine. And so that's kind of my report. I just kind of wanted to put that up there, because I know probably there's a lot of activity on the net right now, people searching for information on Mariah, and they keep emailing me, and so that was it. If I was looking for a boat, I would consider that boat. It didn't look like it had fallen apart at all. And in fact, if the boat kind of has, I guess, would stabilized in her depreciation value. So I would be considering that if I was buying a boat. I don't work for Catana. I don't work for the owner. I don't work for the sales guys. I'm just an old skipper that was on the boat, and I liked the boat. We had a lot of good times on the boat when we were running her. And but if I was looking for a boat that is probably would be one of my criteria, is to find a boat that her price has stabilized on the market. And so with what I see Mariah selling for, if somebody buys that boat 2 years from now, they're going to be able to sell it for roughly the same value, or more or less, but probably roughly the same. I don't see that boat is going to depreciate, whereas I see boats all the time that people buy and they sell them 3 or 4 years or 5 years later, and the value has significantly dropped because the boat's getting older. Let's say boat's 3 years old. By now you keep it for 4 years, now the boat's 7 years old. And whereas when the boat's 15 years old and now it's 18 years old, the value of the boat is more dependent on how the boat has been kept rather than the age of the boat. And that probably happens around 10 or 12 years old on a boat. And so Mariah is past that, which means to the potential buyer that the depreciation is done. And that's an important aspect for buying a boat. I say I still have a little bit more time because I put up I just put a stack of photos from our time on Mariah. So I'll give you I'll mention a couple other things about Mariah. Mariah is a 582, and so for those that haven't really followed the Catana line, there's a 581, a 582. So that means a 58-foot boat, and the one version is kind of a stripped down version of the boat. The interior wouldn't be varnished. The interior would be kind of like white little panels, and it'd be very utilitarian for those that couldn't afford the 582 version. The 582 version was the version the 2 version was the version that had a really luxurious interior. So I point that out because this is Mariah is a 582 version. What else to say? I just glad people are emailing me. Thank you very much. You can see more of what we do on yachtwork.com. We're currently running Orion, the 90-foot catamaran, and you can see more on that on charterorion.com. Okay, thanks guys.